Well, hello my lovely nestlings and welcome to another video. It has been a while, I am well aware, and in today's video I'll tell you what not to do because I kind of messed up my face big time. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm from the Netherlands, hence the accent. I'm also slightly orcish, relatively vintage. I love spooky stuff, makeup and being creative. Let me explain some things. The slightly orcish means I'm green. I'm a light to light medium warmish olive, and the relatively vintage means I'm 47. The spooky stuff, well, you know, I usually said I have 5 tarantulas. It's a little bit more now, but I will explain that in another video. We also have a snake, we have 5 cats, so it's basically Halloween always in my house. It also saves dusting, right? I love makeup, as I said, and the creativeness. Do you see this behind me, those two? That is what I also create. I am a mandala artist and teacher. I also have an art channel. I also sell my art, and everything that you need to know will be listed down below in the description box. So what am I going to use today? Well, I got some new goodies in from Unearthly Cosmetics. I am on their PR list. I also have an affiliated code. The stuff that I'm going to use today, I received in PR. So let me kind of start by showing you these two. So I got the Full Magic palette. I also got the Sorcerous Smoke palette. I got 2 of her new incandescent waterproof liquid eyeshadows. I have the shade Thorn. Where's the other one? Oh, here. And I have the shade Willow. I did swatches, and honestly when these dry down they stay, because I tried to remove them with a baby wipe and they're still on my hand. So there is that. I don't really know what I'm going to use today. I kind of have an idea, but first let me show you some close-ups and some swatches. Let's start with the Full Magic palette. I love the artwork. I love the way that these palettes are. I also love the outer packaging that they come in, and it just feels very high-end and very luxe. I think that the color story is very, very cute. It's a fall palette, but with a little bit of a twist. The only thing that I did notice though was when I swatched the shimmers, and I'm very textural, you know, I don't know. When I feel a shadow with my fingers, I know if I'm going to like it or not, or if I want to try it a little bit more. What I notice with these shimmers is that they feel a little bit drier, and they have quite a lot of sparkly bits to them, which I don't mind sparkly bits, but the fact that the shimmers feel a little bit dry does make me want to try this one. At least the shimmer. So I know that I'll try some of the shimmers of this one because I just want to see how they are, because usually her shimmers feel very, they feel a little bit more silky. I don't want to say oily, but as I said, these feel pretty dry. So I'm interested. So let me also show you then the Sorcerous Smoke. This color story is a little bit more my vibe. I'm not gonna lie. This is a color story that I very, very much vibe with. And when I opened this one up, I was like, this is a palette that I can see myself grab every day. This is just my type of color story. It's kind of the dirtier orange. It's a little bit more of the olivey greens. And the shimmers in this one feel more... smooth is the wrong word. They feel softer, because basically less dry, if that makes any sense at all. So what I'm thinking about, maybe I can kind of combine the two a little bit, because I do think that they will work very well together. So let me kind of hold them up together as well. I actually think that when you see the color stories, let's do that. You can use both palettes to kind of spruce up the other palette, if that makes any sense. So I don't really know what I'm planning today. Mattes feel the same in both palettes. They feel soft to the touch. They have a nice pigmentation in them, and when I swatch them, they make a nice swatch instead of being patchy. And that just tells me how this formula will behave. So, but I do want to try shimmers from the Full Magic, because I know that I'll love the shimmers of the Sorcerous Smoke already. So I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do. I have no idea. So let me also show you then the swatches of the two incandescent eyeshadows. I like the shade Thorn actually the best. The only thing is though, it doesn't really show up on camera. So let me re-swatch it. It is basically a transparent base. I don't think I can show you. You can kind of see a little bit of the pink. But there's also kind of a, it's basically a yellow to gold. But when I see this, I also see green. I don't think you can see it on camera even. I know you just see the purple. But it also has green and blue. It's very, very pretty. And this is, maybe I can use this in my inner corner or something. And here is the shade. The shade Willow has a darker base and it's basically dark purple. It has some green sparkles in it. They're very, very pretty. She also sent me a powder puff, which feels extremely soft. So yes, I'm excited to try it. Now, let me then also tell you kind of why I have been not filming and not going live here on my channel. And why my face feels very dry. It actually looks pretty nice right now, but I fucked up my skin, really. So, just going to use a hydrating primer from Essence. It's the most hydrating one that I have. It's their jelly primer. And for foundation, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury one. I do need to lighten it up though. I have 5 neutral, but I need to lighten it up. So I'm going to do that just because this one has a little bit more moisture to it than my other foundations. So, if you don't know, which it could very well be that you don't know, I am very, I don't want to say creative with my skincare, but I kind of love to mix and match myself. I've been using stuff from The Ordinary for years. I have been using the Inky List for quite a while. And I also make my own hydrating spray. I have done that for years. It's a very, very easy generic spray with, I think it's distilled water that I can get here. Yeah, that's good. And I always add glycerin and sometimes niacinamide powder, you know, kind of like that. I also always put foundation on my eyelids because if I'm going to use eyeshadow base, usually they're a little bit pink or a little bit too warm and kind of warp the color of my eyeshadow. And I also don't like to have basically a line of demarcation between my eyes and the rest of my face. So that's why I always put foundation on. Oh, this foundation just looks so pretty. Still wearing my spider webby septum piercing. I think this is kind of, just put a little bit more on my cheeks. Yeah, okay. For concealer, I grabbed the Clean ID from Catrice, and this is in the shade Neutral Sand, and it has a green undertone. Well, not really green, but it's an olivey undertone. So. Well, I'm guessing I have there a freckle in a minute. So foundation is on. Let's try the powder puff. What's the powder that I want to use? I kind of do want to have a loose powder, and lately I'm very much back into the one from Kiko Milano. I actually put it in a different container because honestly their loose powder, the container that it comes in, is atrocious. So kind of let's put a little bit in the cup. So let's try this one. It feels very nice and soft. You can also put foundation on with stuff like this. I've actually tried it once. I haven't tried it with this one yet, but I can. And I actually like pressing my powder into my foundation. I just think it works better. It looks better, according to me that is. So that's the foundation and the powder. I also am grabbing a bronzer. What's the bronzer? Let's use House Labs in light level 2. Because I can. Let's do that. So because I have, let's move on with the story. So because I have been doing my own skincare for I think 5 or 6 years or something like that, and I've tried a lot of different skincare. I tried a lot of different things from The Ordinary, for instance, to just see what my skin likes. I tried a lot of different types of moisturizers. I know what my skin likes and what my skin doesn't like. I'm not really very experimental with my skincare, honestly. I just know the ingredients that it does and does not like. That's the bronzer done. For blush, I actually grab my blushes and highlighters from Unearthly, but I don't really know the color just yet. I'm going to hold off choosing a blush and a highlighter for just a little bit, and I'm going to go to brows first. So when my hydrating spray runs, I always make new. It's just something that I have been doing for years. This is the record shade, yes. And my hydrating spray ran out, and I was like, let me refill it. Let me kind of, I don't know why I thought actually it was a good idea to put sage oil in there, but I was like, let me try sage oil. I know it's this was my thought process. I know it's good for itchiness and all that, and the reason that I know that is because of the dreads, right? You kind of have your scalp needs to adjust to it, and sage oil is a part of some of the sprays, not all. Honestly though, now that I've kind of looked it up, it's usually for sprays that, these are synthetic dreads, but if you have real dreads, you want to make sure that there's no bacteria buildup and such, right? So that's kind of where the sage comes in. However, I was kind of apparently having, I don't know, an internal blonde moment or something, because I thought it was a good idea to put sage oil in my face spray. And it smelled nice and it worked well for a week. Do I want an eye primer? Sure. Let me try the Too Faced eye primer again. I can already hear some of you screaming, but I don't know why I didn't think it would not be a good idea. But I didn't. So it actually went well. For a week there was no issue. One of my moisturizers ran out and I was like, let me try another one. So I went to a local drugstore, if you live in the Netherlands, to Ethos. And I got their Natural Moisturizer Plus HA. And I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like a dupe for The Ordinary. You know, I did not really like the one from The Ordinary. I felt like it didn't give my face a lot of moisture, but I was like, let me just try it. Shall we kind of do something a little bit on the berry? I actually think maybe I'm just going to use this one. These mattes and maybe the shade Vision from the other one, because it's a little bit lighter. Or shall I put this one more in I don't know. I'm going to play there. But first I'm going to grab actually the shade Vision from the other palette, because I like to start with a light shade. I like that. So I'm going to grab a bigger brush, shade Vision, and I'm kind of going to set my eyeshadow base where I'm going to blend. Just tapping it on. It's a nice color. So I bought the cream on Wednesday, about 2 weeks ago, I think now. So I bought the cream and I tried it that evening. I also tried it on Thursday, and I kind of thought it was a nice cream. It wasn't a very interesting cream. It was just, as far as I could kind of tell, a generic moisturizer. And then on Friday morning, I put it on my face and my face started itching immediately. And I was like, that is not good. So I washed it off. And I just had irritation. I had a lot of irritation here in the folds. It was red. It was warm to the touch. It was itchy. I had a spot here, or basically your kind of third eye region, which was bumpy and itchy. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So my thought immediately was, I was trying something new, so it must be the cream. So I stopped using that cream and kind of failed to think about the face spray that I was also using. So I kind of did continue using the face spray. I'm going to the shade Cozy, which is the pink shade of the Fall Magic palette. That's cute. Oh yes, I continued. Oh dear, I thought that I think that brush was still a little bit dirty. Which is fine. Which is fine. I'll grab a different brush. Still same shade. I will fix that later because I'm going to put that purple shade on top anyway, so it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So my face got itchier and itchier. My cheeks were so red and my face felt so dry that I was like, oh my lord. And I was blaming the cream. It all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, maybe I need to change out my face spray. So I cleaned out the sprayer bottle that I was using, and I just filled it with distilled water and glycerin. Very, very generic. Yes. So it took my face almost 2 weeks to get back to normal. And honestly, I've never had this happen. Even when I was using tretinoin, or when I'm using retinol or stuff like that, nothing happens in my face. But that was, yeah, I very, very much messed up my face. The only thing that I could really tolerate was the moisturizer that I had from Nomad, because that is also a very, very hydrating one with a lot of glycerin in it. And I used face oil, so I used the board seed oil from The Ordinary. I always have that in my house, and it's very anti-inflammatory. And oh, by the way, I'm using the shade Snug, which is the dark purple. And squalane oil to kind of try to get the oil balance back in my face as well, because it was just it was not good. So yeah, that's basically what I learned. Don't put sage oil in your skincare. I should have known, honestly. I should have known. Very, very pretty purple. And as you can see, the part that I messed up, I'm now covering. So going in with a fluffier brush. Then I'm going to go back to the shade Cozy, which was that lighter pink. These shadows are pretty pigmented, but they do blend easily. I like it. I do need a little bit more darkness here in the corner. I have a scar there, so my eye folds a little bit weirdly. I like this, I like this, I like this. Okay. I am going to go back to the other palette for the very first shade that I used, which is a little bit of a peachier shade. Just going to lightly blend with a very big fluffy brush. I think this is cute. So I don't usually use I don't usually use a lot of these types of colors, but I think it's cute though. I do. Okay. I do want that dark purple shade a little bit more on my lid as well. I have a little bit of kick up in the pan, but I don't mind it, and I can very much tell that this is a very buildable shade as well. And I very much prefer that type of formula. I don't like the old school indie formula that kind of feels dry to the touches and is very pigmented. And while that works beautifully for a deeper skin tone, I feel like it gets away from me very quickly. So my sweet spot is a shade that is pigmented but also buildable, so that when I go in, I have basically the darkness that I want on my lids, but you definitely then can build it up if you have a deeper skin tone. That is my preferred eyeshadow formula. Oh yes, I think I want that one, which is the shade Magic. They are so pretty. Or do I want this one on my... I don't know. Let's just start. I do want a shimmer primer. So I have a gel primer here from Death and Candy Custom Creations. If you want to try something like this, but I don't know, want to try what you have in your house, if you have something like this, a jelly face primer, try that, because it does work. Only you need to have it, let it set a little bit longer, because a face primer usually is has a little bit more moisture than the eye jellies do. So I am grabbing a little bit of the face primer, or the eye primer on the back of my hand, coat my brush, and then tap it on the lid. Where I want to shimmer. On top of my matte shadow, I never clean my lid. You can also with the jelly primer, but I never do that. Okay. Then I kind of dry my brush on a towel, and I'm going to go into the shade Magic. They are just all so pretty, but I want the shade Magic. I'm just basically tapping and kind of almost making a little bit of a swipey motion. Oh, that's pretty. It's a very pretty shade, and it does perform well. I do suspect though that because this feels a little bit drier, and I kind of associate that with a little less binder than the shimmers in the other palette, I think these will perform best if you use them on top of a shimmer primer or spray your brush. I think that will help a lot. Do I want to shade Autumn with... Oh. No. I'm going to go to the shade Enchanting next, which is this one. So pretty. So pretty. This has a kind of a clear base, so it is a little bit more like a topper. Okay. Or at least it feels like a clear base to me. Oh, that is very pretty though. Honestly, I don't even think it does it justice. What I'm also going to do, I'm just going to use my finger. That shade Autumn, this one, which is the peachy one, I'm actually going to kind of put that here in the middle. Just tap it on, so that works very well with the finger too. Cute. Okay, what do I want for my bottom lid? Shall we go funky? Shall we go to the shade Forage? Just because I can? Just for funsies? I don't know if it's going to be fun, but we're going to do it. So the shade Forage, which is basically a very, it's a dirty green. I don't know if it will work. Maybe I need to spray my brush. I think I need to spray my brush. This is actually a tip from my friend Debbie. She always sprays her matte shadows when they go on underneath their eyes. So I'm just loading up my brush, spraying the brush, and then tapping it on. And I do remember this trick from back in the day, because back in the day, eyeshadows had no pigmentation whatsoever. You needed to basically use them wet. Otherwise, it just would not stay. This is an interesting color choice. Interesting color choice. I should have done this before I put the other shadows down, but that is okay. Kind of. I'm very much building it up, but that's because I already put the darker shades down. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have to. But again, it does build well on itself. So there's that. Cool. Okay, do we have kind of a shadow that matches that? No. I'm going to go to the shade Leaves, which is in this palette as well. Which is kind of the greenier sparkle. That's pretty. I'm just going to tap that over. I do create fallout. So let's spray the brush. So same as with the matte. First pick up the shadow and then spray. Yeah, way less fallout this way. Ooh, that's kind of cutesy. Okay. For inner corner, I actually want to use that other, this one. That's what I want to use for inner corner. I don't know. I'll just put kind of a dollop on the back of my hand and then grab a brush. And I kind of pick it up with a brush, I hope. And then put it here. Ah, oh, that's pretty. I know this will stay all day. So I also wanted a little bit there underneath my tear duct, because that is where this will disappear the quickest. Maybe I can put it directly on the brush. I don't want to put it in my inner corner per se, so maybe... oh yeah, that works as well. Now you can, you know, you can do this if you want to. But I kind of don't really want to. I don't even know if you can really see the shifts, but it's very, very pretty. Okay. Let me finish off the eyes with mascara, pencil and all that, and then we will pick out the blush. Okay, falsies are on. For eye pencil, I grabbed this one from NYX in the shade Chartreuse Flash, which very much vibes with that part. For lips, I grabbed a lip pencil from Essence in the shade Delicate. Lined my lips, filled it in, and then put a gloss from Unearthly on top in the shade Ornament. Oh, I did not even know it was that. I think we match. Okay, for blush, let's kind of see the blushes that I have left. Oh yeah, falsies I have on are the style Dreamlike, also from Unearthly. I was like, let's just go for Unearthly today. So these are the blushes that I have left. I think I should kind of go for this one, but I want to go for this one, which is the shade Bloom. So I'm going to go for the shade Bloom today. Let's grab a brush. Let's grab this one. Oh yes, and I also put bats on the side of my head because, you know, it's still a little bit Halloween something. And that's a stamp liner from V Cosmetics. Something like that. Okay. Then for highlighter, I have these two. But I'm kind of thinking of putting this one on. So that's the shade. Is that the shade Angel? Yeah, it's the shade Angel. Okay. I'm just using the same brush because I'm actually going to use it as a blush topper. To kind of create a little bit of a shiny blush today. So I have a kind of a friend here, or I don't know what it is. We're going to make that into a freckle. So I still have a freckle product. Let's just make some more, just because we can. I'm making a lot. Can you tell that I haven't done this for a while? Anywhoosies. I like it. I like it. What can I say? So kind of let me give my first thoughts on, well, basically I used largely the Full Magic palette, and it performed, the mattes performed the way that I knew they would, and the shimmers actually performed better than I kind of had expected, because they kind of felt a little bit drier. And not that I was like, they're not going to perform well, but I felt that in my experience, when I feel a shimmer that feels like this, so that is drier to the touch, it has less binder in it, and I feel I usually need to help it a little bit more than shimmers that have more binding in it, which is kind of the same as this. However, using it with a finger, especially on top of the shimmer primer, it performed very, very well, and it is so pretty and sparkly. So pretty and sparkly. I do love the color story that this one has. However, I do have to say that my kind of basic bitch heart right now goes to this one, which is the Sorcerous Smoke. That's the one that I will probably use the most, but I do think that this is a very interesting and fun color story that is different from the usual autumn and fall palettes that we see now. So I do really like the color story. It's just that, I don't know, for my everydayness, I kind of want to play with this one. And I am. I don't know if I will do it on camera, but I very much want to play with this one more. So from this one I used this shade, which is the shade Vision, which is a very, very nice peachy one. But I also really want to do a look with just this one all over the lid. And then maybe darken it up a hint with that one. And then, yeah, that one basically all over the eye. That one in kind of in the crease to darken it up a little bit. And then this one on the lid, because this is just gorgeousness. Gorgeousness. So, Amanda, thank you so much for sending these my way. They are stunning. They are very, very stunning. These two, I only use this one in the inner corner, right? Well, and they're still on the back of my hand. So honest to God, once they are on, they are not going anywhere. This one, which is the shade Thorn, I will use a lot in my inner corner, I think. I think that's cute. And I do want to try this as basically an eyeshadow the way it is intended. I don't usually use stuff like that though, although you're probably not being able to hear it, but we are having Dutch fall weather, which means rain and wind. So these would then be perfect. So I do want to try them out and kind of see how they work. I'm kind of guessing that how I would use these, I would just build my eyeshadow up. So basically do all my matte shadow, put the matte shadow that I want to use, especially for this one. So basically a darker base. I don't want to say a black, but maybe the dark purple that I have here all over the lid, and then tap this one on to get maximum effect. That's how I would use them. And then this one in my inner corner. I do want to do that though. I don't know when, but I do want to do that because I do want to try them both out a little bit more. The powder puff feels very, very nice, or at least I don't know if it's a powder puff. You can, as I said, also use this for foundation. I can try that just because it's then something different to try than a sponge. But I think that was kind of it. So let me know if you have ordered these, because they were on pre-order. They have shipped now. I know that a lot of other people already have their videos up, but I really wanted to play with them. They just arrived, I think 2 days ago for me. But I really love... I didn't even show you the outer boxes, did I? So this is the outer box of the Sorcerous one. And it's just so cool. So you can just use this as, I don't know, storage. Her lippies fit in there, which is actually a very cool idea, honestly. Huh. So I hope that helped. So let me know if you're getting anything. Have you ordered? I know that she has a lot of new things right now as well. She is... Was it the holiday palette that she's going to do now? There's a new palette coming. If you want to know more, go follow her on Instagram as well at Unearthly Cosmetics. If you want to shop from her, you can use my affiliated code NIKKIRAVEN to save at checkout. And if you do, I will earn a small commission. I also forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, if you check out my description box and you see an asterisk next to a link or a code, that means that the link or code is affiliated, and that means that I earn a small commission if you use those. So that is it for today. Yeah, let me know if you've done anything stupid like I did, messing up your face. It's still not 100%. I can tell when I look up close with the foundation. It's still not 100%, but it's almost there. It's basically 98%. I'm never going to do that again. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, or if it's evening for you, have an amazing night. Don't forget to give the video a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And also, if you love art, check out my art channel, Roho Art by NIKKIRAVEN, especially if you want to learn how to make mandalas like that. Yes, that's going to be it. Thank you so much. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.